Hey YPA, it's Jacob Thigpen. I'm your membership chair, and I'm going to kick off Webinar Wednesdays. I'm going to kick us off with more of a softball compared to what you will hear. You're going to hear a lot of great speakers from our community. They're going to talk about a ton of different stuff that's relatable to your personal life and relatable to your professional life. They're going to be talking about different topics such as communication, just a whole bunch of really good stuff. But what I kind of wanted to start us out with is the other day I was reading an article that came from a newsletter that I subscribed to by a guy named Benjamin Hardy. And Benjamin Hardy, he's an author, he's an organizational psychologist. So I subscribe to his newsletters, and one of the things I really love about it is he sends the newsletters, and there may be a paragraph, 2 paragraphs long with just, 4 to 6 sentences. What he does is he keeps it kind of short to the point, and then if you want to discover more, you click on a link that he has, and it takes you to his website and to his articles. So that's a good thing, because a lot of times we just don't have the time, to just cipher through a long article, especially if we're going throughout our work day or whatever, and we're already being inundated with emails and a bunch of communication. It's just, that's one of the reasons why I really do, I like his newsletters, because he just kind of does a really good job of presenting what he wants to talk about, and then he intrigues you enough to where you can choose to read further. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the article that intrigued me to read further the other day. And it's called The 100% Rule That Makes Life a Lot Easier. Clayton Christensen, the former famed Harvard Business School professor, had a powerful statement. It's easier to hold your principles 100% of the time than it is to hold them 98% of the time. This quote makes a lot of sense in light of research on decision-making and willpower. Take, for example, a diet. If you're only 98% committed to a diet, then that means you haven't yet made the decision. If you haven't made the decision, but are only partially committed, then you don't know what the outcome will be in future scenarios. Not knowing the outcome of your behavior can create problems in your confidence and identity. Here's an example. If you're only 98% committed to a diet, in every future situation you're in, you have to ask yourself, is this one of those times I'm going to eat outside the diet? By asking this question, usually while you're in the heat of the moment, you have to weigh back and forth in your mind what you're going to do. This whole back and forth decision-making process leads to decision fatigue or a loss of willpower. In many cases, more often you probably would like to admit, the situation ends up winning. That's something social psychology research has found repeatedly for decades. Situations are often more powerful than internal desires. By only being 98% committed to a goal or principle, you lack the ability to adequately predict your own behavior. You often enter situations where you don't know what the outcome will be. You deal with decision fatigue in the heat of an unideal decision-making situations, such as when you're being offered your favorite dessert. By watching yourself repeatedly fail on your commitment, your identity becomes confused, as does your confidence. With lower confidence, you'll lack the wherewithal to commit fully to the decision or goal. The author Robert Brault has a quote for this. We are kept from our goal not by obstacles, but by a clear path to a lesser goal. Motivation requires simplicity. Complexity kills motivation. Consequently, you have to make a decision, have a clear outcome, and carve a clear path to getting what you want. As you make progress, you'll begin to develop efficacy or confidence that you can complete. These notions of motivation come from expectancy theory. Instead of dealing with decision fatigue at 98%, one can make a decision at 100%. Although difficult, this could solve a lot of your willpower problems. By committing 100% to something like, say, a diet, even for a short period of time, you can predict your behavior in future situations. You can know that regardless of what is being offered, the decision has already been made. That decision was made in better conditions than in the heat of the moment. Therefore, you don't have to deal with the back and forth struggle of decision fatigue in unideal decision-making conditions, such as when your best friend is offering you a soda. Michael Jordan has a great quotation that brings this idea together. Once I made a decision, I never thought about it again. That's the key to building confidence. You make a decision and move forward with that decision 100%. Each time you follow through, your confidence increases, thus further increasing your motivation and resolve to continue. Your identity becomes clear and resonates with the future self you strive to become. Self-signaling is the notion that you judge yourself based on your actions. By watching yourself act according to desired goals, you begin to perceive yourself as that type of person. If you do find yourself in the heat of the moment and struggling with your resolve, there are two helpful strategies. One is called implementation intentions. And what it means is that you've created a pre-planned response when you're triggered to do something you don't want to do. You create an if-then scenario, such as when Steve offers me a soda, I will tell him I'm on a diet. The other strategy comes from Hal Hershfield at UCLA, who has studied the idea of having a future self concept and how that helps decision making rather than making a decision based on what your current self wants. You could ask, how would my future self want to remember this? Or what would my future self want me to do? These questions have helped me be more intentional with my kids when I get home from a busy day at work and am exhausted, wanting to veg out. So the conclusion, the 100% rule by Clayton Christensen is a very useful strategy for avoiding decision fatigue and building confidence. So that is from Benjamin Hardy. That is 100% rule that makes life a lot easier. And I guess the main thing that just kind of stuck out with me with that is that if you are about to make a decision that you know that your conscience isn't fighting you, like it's a good decision. I mean, with the diet, if that's something that you know, like I've been to the doctor, you know I need to go on this diet, then that would be a good decision that you need to make, but you're not going to follow through unless you 100% commit. And that sounds so simple on paper, but I think the way he breaks it down is very helpful. Because a lot of times we make these decisions and we think we're giving it our all and we're going, that, hey, it's okay if I waver a little bit, because I'll get it done, I'll eventually get it done. But the thing is, even the most responsible of us are really exceptionally good at procrastinating, so to really, if you do have this decision that this goal you really want to reach, you have to be 100% committed, no matter what somebody tells you. And just with the kind of the silly analogy with the diet, I mean, if you are on a diet and somebody is, of course, with good intentions telling you like, oh no, hey, you look great, or it's okay if you have this cake every now and then. Okay, maybe you do look great. You probably do. And maybe it would be okay to have that cake this one time. But that in that moment, if you decide to have that cake, you'll no longer be on that path to accomplishing your goal. So I hope this was helpful. If you guys would please put in the comments section any podcast or newsletters that you would like to share with YPA, we'd all greatly appreciate it, guys. Look forward to seeing you guys in person, hopefully sometime soon. Bye.